All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. I know y'all missed this. It's been a minute. Welcome back to another Jab podcast. Bro, this is episode 155. And man, feel like it's been a minute. Welcome back. Welcome back, P.
Yes, sir. What's up, Ant? Combo Breaker 99, man. It's definitely been a minute
I know,
since
man.
we graced the mic with some boxing talk or whatever. But this one brought me out the woods, like I told you, Ant. This is something that got my juices flowing and something that I felt like was worthy of talking.
I got you. Yeah,
So
yeah. And just so y'all know, if y'all forgot, that's Boxing P right there. And I'm Combo Breaker 99. But it's been a minute, man. I just got to shake off the ring rust here a little bit, man. But yeah, P, like, I'm with you, man. Like, we had to get on for this fight for sure because, like we were talking last night, this fight here, just the magnitude of it, man. Like, this is our man over here, Bud Crawford, known as one of the most skilled and talented fighters. Like, I mean, when we started this show, we was talking about how skilled he was,
exactly.
and
Exactly. It's
the
nothing new
long,
to us, and I do want
right,
people to
right,
know that you can go back and check.
yeah,
I mean, we was wrong about some stuff. We did.
hmm
Nobody was 100%, but we always
yeah.
gave Terence Crawford his props. You know what I
hmm
mean?
I always saw like this gifted athlete, just fighter that would have longevity, and here he is now fighting one of the biggest superstars. Like when you first heard this fight officially announced, because we always see clickbait on other spots and news where they talk about the fight, but when it was first announced, like what was your reaction to it?
Honestly, I felt like Bud got his shot. Because you gotta realize, man, like you said, we've been giving Bud his props for a long time, but the Bud back then, I never seen him really being a boxing superstar like he is now. You know what I'm saying? Definitely the
Right.
Earl Spence fight, shot him into a different, stratosphere. And now he springboarded off that into a Canelo fight. So he didn't get the Pacquiao fight. So now he got the Canelo fight. So I was kind of happy for him in that sense. But the bargaining, the deal he had to make with Canelo wasn't the sweetest. You know what I'm saying? Canelo wasn't budging on nothing. He was
hmm
like, "You want me? Come to me." So that's what Bud had to do.
Yeah. I felt the same way too. Like I always saw Bud as a fighter that would just set records and numbers, maybe even do some things that Floyd didn't do, which he did, like
Mm-hmm.
become undisputed in some weight class, multiple weight classes, because that's something Floyd never did. I kind of thought
Right.
maybe he would have just continued to set records and maybe even kind of go out like Andre Ward did, like one of the best fighters, but never really got that superstar status. But,
Absolutely, and you
you
put that
know,
exactly
yeah.
what I was saying. Andre Ward, not taking
hmm
nothing from him, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
never thought he would get the bright lights. You know what I'm
hmm
saying? For a lot of different reasons, but he wound up there. So
Finally got like you could say he almost got like the Sugar Ray Leonard challenge in front of him. He's stepping up like Sugar Ray when he fought that what's his name, Donnie Lalonde, that light heavyweight. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that finally when you put that hard work in, it finally paid off, and it took some. I know boxing is when you get in the ring, it's chest play, it's all chest, but it took some moves outside of the ring to make this fight. It really did,
oh yeah, yeah.
because some of the things I think Bud was doing, um, a lot of fighters, they some fighters wouldn't want to step up and fight him. Let's just put it that way. So I think some of the things Bud would do, he kind of set some traps to let certain people fall in, and I think that's kind of where Canelo is right now. So looking at Canelo's side, I'm kind of thinking Canelo is underestimating him a little bit. You know, maybe like towards the lead up, that's how I kind of felt. But now that he's kind of looking him eye to eye, I think he really sees what he's up against. Like when you see this picture right here, I'm thinking Canelo seeing something now that maybe he didn't when he signed on to fight.
Oh yeah. I mean, hard to say, Ant. Canelo definitely is pedigree.
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
amateur career, 62 fights.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around. So maybe he did see something in Terrence that he just didn't want no parts of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm sure he know with talent when he see it because he been in the ring with so many different people. But neither here nor there. We arrived at an agreement, and the fight is going down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, mainly on Canelo's terms, but it's going down.
Mm-hmm. When you bring up his terms, like let's kind of look at how this matches up with Terrence moving up. I know Terrence did fight once at 154, but let's say he jumping up 3 weight classes because he was really at welterweight mostly.
Right. Most of his career.
So being being the one that have to step in his ballpark, not just financially but physically as well. Like, what do you think that does to Bud? Do you think that really some it would intimidate, but I kind of see it more so getting his fire going. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, because really the biggest challenge was could he get up to 168? And
Yeah.
obviously that wasn't a big as a deal as people may have thought, because he said he walked around at 180, 190. So, people don't understand that people don't walk around their fight weight a lot of times. So, you know what I mean? A lot of guys are coming down to make weight, the weight division or whatever. So, once people saw that he could get put on the one, like Floyd. Floyd would never make 168. He couldn't do it. You know
Mm-mm.
what I mean? Floyd could barely make 150.
Right.
So, Terrence, I guess, had to see if he could put it on, because you got to be able to put it on. I don't think anybody can just put on the wall. You know what I mean? I guess anybody could, but not effectively. And you know what I'm saying? So,
Oh yeah, yeah.
when Bud, I guess, realized he could put it on effectively, it was a green light.
What do you think it was with Bud as far as knowing that he was a almost like a shoe in just to I mean he didn't even take a fight at 168. Like, what do you think it was like in his camp? Do you think it was Bo Mac just really eyeing him, or do you think it was just Bud itself just getting the feeling and just carrying the weight and even like sparring some people that could just say, oh man, like we good to go, What do you
I
think it
mean,
was?
that's a good question because it's like you always hear stories about how strong Terrence is, Terrence wrestling, Terrence boxing, heavyweights, light heavyweights. You all those stories out there. So you know, with him doing that, what is he preparing himself for? Why is he fighting bigger guys? You know what I mean? Why is he sparring these bigger men? I know that's probably maybe part of some people's training camp, but Terrence was definitely known to be doing that already. So I just think once they looked at everything and chasing greatness, and I'm sure there's a little bit of doubt in him. Not saying I can't do it, but like, yo, this is I got to be picture perfect to get this done. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
risk in it, ain't? It's a lot of risk now. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I guess things just all came together and they felt good with that decision and felt that they could make it happen. But it's definitely risky. You know what I mean? Even with Terence Crawford's skills, because fight night that's fight night. We don't know what happens on fight night.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Different things come into play on that specific date of the fight. People sick, injuries, this, that, so really when that first bell ring, we really gonna really see, what's going on. You heard all the rumors about both fighters being injured. That could be true, it couldn't be true. We won't know till
Mm-hmm.
after the fight, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, I heard something about the shoulder thing,
the
right? Something.
shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Like I say, no fighter is going into a fight 100%. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, we just won't know until like I say, that bell ring and they get in there and really do the dance. I felt like they did all the homework. They on paper,
Mm-hmm.
everything is looking good. But a lot of things look good on paper, and because that's the only thing it
Yeah.
could really be is on
Yeah.
paper right now. Any
Yeah. That's
conclusion you came to is on paper right now because they haven't fought.
Right.
So
Like, yeah, that's why I say, like, when you go online, like, so many people sound so sure about their fighter, whether it's Bud or it's Canelo. They like, no, Bud can't take this. He can't take
I
this. I'm
know
like, how do you
it's
know?
I know
Like, how do you know? And same
it's
thing with Canelo. Canelo
it's
ain't fought no boxer like this. Come on, like he's seen so many fighters. Maybe this might be the time he's adjusted to it, you know? So
right. And that's
nobody
and
knows.
that's why I say, that's why I've been in the woods for a while, because it's just
Mhm.
it's chaos out here in this boxing
Right.
world, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I was saying a few minutes ago, we're gonna find out that actual fight night, because all those things are just remain to be seen.
Yeah.
It remains to be
Yeah.
seen. You know what I mean? It remains to be seen. But like I say, people say he can't take the power. The power is going to be too much for him. I don't believe that the guy Terence Crawford intelligence and on this high level, that he ain't battle tested for that yet. He ain't battle tested with Canelo, but he had to test himself, ain't? He would
Yeah.
not go in there recklessly, and just throw caution to the wind with a fight on this level. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's been in there taking some shots. He's not sitting there with his hands down, letting the guy punch him in the face, but he's took some
Mhm.
heavy shots from guys to make sure that he's able to withstand that. I mean, the name of the game is hit and don't get hit, but throughout 12 rounds with Canelo, you're going to get hit.
Definitely, definitely. You know, you will catch something in there from Canelo. So, Bud, he's the one that really does have to be on his P's and Q's when it comes to absorbing one of those power punches. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm curious to see how he take Terence Crawford cracks.
yeah.
You
Oh
know
yeah,
what I'm
me too.
saying? Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm curious to see, because it's all about how, when, where, timing on the punch. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I'm curious to see with that people saying Terence Crawford can't hurt him. We definitely don't know that.
Right. We
We
don't know that.
definitely don't know that. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if Terence can take his punch, but we definitely don't know if Terence don't have the ability to hurt Canelo, because it's all about the snap and the timing and all that stuff with a punch in. You know what I mean? He is the weight. He got the weight behind him. So if he catch Canelo just right, I want to see how Canelo react to that. I do.
Hmm.
I know he took some punches from way bigger punches, but like we say, it's not about all the time how hard. It's about that
The timing and.
precision of a punch. Yeah, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying.
Hmm.
Like a lot of times, Bud catch people with the collision. They coming using their momentum
They doing
with the
part of the work
punch.
for him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if he catch Canelo with a hard, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say. It's hard to say. But a lot of times he do, catch that collision, catch people coming in, you know what I'm saying, with that counter, and you know, force coming from, you get that collision.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, Ed, it's just I'm super excited, that's why I'm like all over the place or whatever. But because it's so many questions, bro. And like I feel what you're saying. I've been listening to the things, and people swearing this and people swearing that, and they,
Hmm.
like they in the camps and their word is golden or whatever. And I get it, people passionate about the sport and passionate about their fighters, I guess. I mean, I'm passionate about the sport too, but I'm not really standing on nothing. I'm not ain't betting no money yet because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Me personally. Me
For real.
personally.
Same here. Yeah. Mm-mm.
I want my boy to get it done, but I don't know. Canelo is a hell of a fighter, and he could get it done. I mean, he could knock Bud out. We definitely seen Bud hurt before. We definitely know the Canelo more than likely got the power. We know Canelo got the power to hurt him, man. That ain't even a question, in my
Hmm.
opinion. You know what I mean? He catch Bud on the chin, and we seen Bud hurt by lesser opposition. You know what I mean? That is like one thing that we kind of can concede on that. You see what I'm saying? We don't
Yeah.
know how. We don't know if Bud can hurt Canelo, but we know Canelo can hurt Bud.
Hmm. Oh
And
yeah.
I'm pulling for Bud. I'm pulling for Bud, but I'm just being straight up with. the facts.
Exactly. That's why I got respect for you, P. Because most people they're gonna swear up and down that that Bud can't be hurt in this fight or Canelo can't be hurt in this fight.
That's it.
But you got to be honest, man. Like if you really know your fighter and you're a big fan of him, you gonna say I like him, but this could happen, you know.
Yeah.
And Bud, yeah, for sure. Like some of his tendencies in the past, where he kind of like to get the crowd going. He like to exchange a little bit, like he did with the old boy Mean Machine, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And I know that was a lower caliber fight, but still, like he liked to get in there sometime and throw a couple of shots, and he kind of got rattled and put on his knee, you
Yeah.
know. He and
Yeah.
then that Madrimov, even at 154, sometimes he starts smiling and sticking his tongue out. We were talking about on the phone yesterday. He liked to draw that out, but that's something you don't want to do with Canelo because yeah,
Nah.
Canelo hurt bigger guys than him. I mean, yeah, Caleb Smith, um, what's his name? Caleb Plant, Jamel. Jamel took a knee. Remember, Jamel
Yeah.
had like a late reaction.
And like I say, Ant, these are things we've seen. Terrence might
Mm-hmm.
have did that in sparring. We didn't see
Yeah,
that though.
right.
We seen Canelo hurt big
Mm-hmm.
men.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the difference. I mean,
And you
like
got
I
to
say, I
think.
know Terrence has been training and stuff, but we've
Mm-hmm.
actually seen these things happen with Canelo. We still need to see,
Mm-hmm.
what Terrence is going to be able to do with a guy that big. I'm
Yeah,
just keeping it real.
and people got to think too. Like Jamel was in that spot. He jumped up from 154 to 168, and you saw like he couldn't really take that power like that. And, Jamel was never really like a chinny guy either. Like
No,
I always thought of him as a sturdy fighter.
exactly.
Him and his brother, they get big too. So
And that's what I was about to say. That 168 on him looks a lot different than it
yeah,
does on Terrence Crawford. It looked kind of more natural on Charlo because he's tall. I mean, I think he wore that better.
yeah.
Terrence was shredded, but I was looking at his legs. They looked a little small compared to the top of him now. That
Okay, I
was
was
from
just
that
about to
one
ask you.
picture. I'm not
Okay,
sure if that's the case, but
let me
to
see. I
me,
got a Here's the weigh in right here. If you want to take a quick look, I can't see his legs, but that's how Canelo looking.
okay.
That's
Wow.
Bud right there. So yeah, you see Canelo. Yeah, Canelo looks ripped. A little
Yeah.
bit like he kind of shredded down,
I
but
think he
yeah.
saw I think he saw Terrence pictures and said,
Mm-hmm.
Payday.
Yeah.
I think he saw Terrence body and had to get shredded at. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Cause it's
so.
like battle with the abs right here going on.
Mm-hmm. And it probably kind of shocked him that Bud jumped up 3 weight classes and still kept that chisel figure.
Yeah,
But that's the thing about Bud. Like, you got to put him in the category of a B hop, man. The dude is disciplined. Not too many
absolutely.
guys like Floyd and B hop like care about their bodies. Like some dudes, they just move up and bulk up, but they do it so carefully. And like you said yesterday, like they got the science behind it. They making sure everything is good, recovery's good, so nothing's like too big, or that you
Right.
overlifting, so something's getting torn. None of that. So I
Doing it
think
the right way. You know
doing it
what
the
I
right
mean?
way. hmm Um, Looking at Canelo, man, like, well, look at both of them though. Who do you think more pressure is on though? Because Bud moves up and he loses. People could say something, but like, do you think more pressure is on Canelo because he is fighting smaller, quote unquote, smaller guy?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All the chips really fall with Canelo. For so many different reasons. He do got the two losses. One when he dared to be great, and one when Floyd took him, to school. He got other questionable wins. Law, maybe one or two other fights out there that people question, but at the end of the day, his resume is solid and his record is solid, and he's one of the best out there right now, man. You know what I mean? And next in line is really like a Terence Crawford. I mean, the one of the best out there. It's just different because it's like we known Canelo forever. We just learning Terence Crawford. That's the thing for the world though. You understand what I'm saying? And we've been
Oh yeah,
watching
yeah.
Canelo,
Mm-hmm.
been watching Terence too. But the world is like they just. That's why they probably like, damn, he 38. I just found out about him. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? and
You
it
know,
it does seem that
yeah,
way.
it does. Yeah, this is kind of like his Tito Trinidad. You know,
Yeah,
he just
absolutely.
like B Hop because you know B Hop was doing it for so long, and then all of a sudden they see this dude from Philly throwing down the Puerto Rican flag, and everybody know him then. You know,
Yeah.
so that was kind of like his big fight. So this is kind of like the one same thing. Like I see UFC fighters out there. You know, they know. I never really heard him talk about Bud like that. You know, like they always talk about Canelo or Floyd, but now the UFC fighters are all like on the edge of their seat talking about Bud or hit like on his Instagram now too. So it's crazy. Like they finally getting it. Like that's why I've been telling like these UFC fighters they need to tune in the boxing sometimes when you watch them hands in there. Sometimes they
Oh
you
yeah.
know they
Yeah.
need to start looking at guys like this. So yeah, he's kind of crossed over with this. And hey, better late than never though because after this fight, man, like, do you think Bud might ponder retirement, or do you think he might go into like win or lose? Like, do you think he would ponder retirement? Or do you think he would go into like the exhibition route, or do you think he got more integrity than that?
Yeah, I can't see Bud doing that the exhibition thing
Mm-hmm.
at all. And they asked him, after this fight, if he won, would he retire? He was like, he still feel good. He would want to keep going, but I don't see nothing else to do. Don't do because like people always you gotta always remember and had Roy retired when he beat Ruiz or when he came down and beat Tar the first time, the conversation of goats and greats, it'd be different. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where will Floyd really be then? Because Floyd didn't go up weight classes and do all the shit that Roy Jones did. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like that's another thing fighters got to be mindful of too. If
Mm-hmm.
Terence Crawford, if you make this history, it's really nothing else to prove, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They'll try to make him feel like he got to prove something else, but it's nothing else to prove, man.
Right.
So I mean, hopefully he get enough money where he feels security. He don't have to at least fight no more. Yeah, I might have to, invest some money and run some businesses, but if I'm fighting this purely for the love. But I like to just see him ride off into the sunset, because I don't see nothing else but them trying to find a young, hungry lion to feed him to.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if a fighter ain't thinking for themselves. Like if you ain't the type to put your career in your hands, like they always going to try to find somebody to beat you, and that's what it come down to. Even like when you look at matchmakers like Dana White and how they try to put fighters in there with certain fighters when they reach a certain age, it's like you become a stepping stone,
Exactly.
and you don't
And
want to
think
be
about
that.
it, man. Just realistically, what else? What other fight in the realm in the stratosphere which is after Canelo, bro?
Right.
I
Really not.
mean, you
Hmm.
tell me what
Yeah.
fight except you going down fighting a guy that's not that famous and dangerous. Other than
Hmm.
that, it's nothing else on the landscape for him.
No.
Now, this fight, I mean, shit, it could wind up being a draw. They might want to run it back. I mean, that's a lot more money or whatever. But outside anything like that, it's nothing else. You know, Canelo, only thing left for him, in my opinion, is a Benavidez. He ain't gonna go near better BF. But
Right.
if he want to do the Benavidez, I think he kind of owe the fans that. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? But outside of that, I really don't see nothing else for either one of them besides them, people throwing everything at them to lose.
Yeah. They ain't. There's really nothing like. That's what this fight kind of looks like
Yeah,
because
it's the
you.
biggest fight that can be made. Nobody is
Yeah.
bigger than y'all two.
Because if let's say if Bud don't want to do 154, like become undisputed there right now, there's nothing in 160. And then for Canelo, like you said, like if you're not fighting Benavidez or Better BF, who you got? So in a way, yeah, this fight does make sense because y'all don't want to do any other thing. So
Yeah,
if y'all wanted to end it here, that end it here. Because even Manny Pacquiao came back a few weeks ago. He fought to a draw. So
right.
that don't really make sense. That don't even
Yeah,
make sense
yeah.
for either one of them.
Yeah, to keep going, it's nothing, absolutely nothing. You're in the Hall of Fame. You'll be undisputed 3 times. It's nothing else to prove, bro. There's nothing else to prove. If he can do now, I can't see Terrence going out on a loss though. He not gonna retire with that. But if he not gonna get the L, back, if he's not going to get his get back, he back into the same situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Them looking for a name to throw at him, and then it's like, and yeah, he could go to 154 and try to cheat at 160, but it's like, bro, you're human. It's gonna catch up with you eventually. You know what I mean? It goes back to that knowing when to fold the chips in there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because like I say, Roy Jones, his legacy ain't the same since
Nah.
them knockouts. Had he
Man.
stopped at that time, once he did everything, he was dominant, went up undefeated, came back. It would have been a different narrative out here right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Definitely,
know,
man. Yeah.
but that happened, and Floyd that just definitely took Floyd out of there. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm-hmm.
that was his only other, in my opinion, black fighter that was like maybe up next. After Roy, but after he got knocked out, it was easy. Floyd just slid in there and kept it going and just slid it on home. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But I'm just saying, I'd be curious what Roy kind of think about that. Like, his legacy now. Yeah, he's still a great, a legend, Hall of Fame, all that good stuff. But it's still just, you know, a lot of this stuff is legacy, and because the belt, legacy, they can't take that from you. They
Yeah.
can't take your record from you. The belts, they can say this, that, and the third. A lot of things they can say, but what's in history in the books, they can't take from you. So, I mean, if I was putting my life on the line, my legacy would be kind of important to me. And I mean, getting in the ring, put my life on the line. So I would just want to be mindful of that. Terence Crawford seemed like a big legacy guy. Your legacy is intact like a motherfucker, bro. I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Mm-hmm.
don't keep rolling the dice, because eventually it will catch up with all of us, eh? You know what I mean? So, like I say, he's already done things that nobody has done. And if he's able to pull this off right here, I don't know if you got nothing else after this, Ant. I don't know if you got nothing else after this. If
I
you
mean,
can pull this shit off, I don't think you got nothing. God might say, all right, Terrence, that's it. You done, buddy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I gave you, you
mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, man. Because
I
this is going
think,
to take everything he got.
yeah, yeah, I agree, man. I was just about to say, because I think that's what happened to Roy, because Roy was on the mountaintop when he won that heavyweight title.
Come on,
And
man.
I mean, hands up, Denzel, everybody was there. But when he let Tarver get to him, his pride was up. I think that was God saying, You you move down, let's see what happened. And he won that first fight.
The first
That
one.
was a warning. Actually, he got two warnings. All right. He could have walked off with that heavyweight title, but he was prideful and moved down and barely won. But you wanted to come back again when you could have retired. But then in that second fight, he said, "This is how it's gonna go. This is your story tonight." And boom, 2 rounds. That was it. So I agree with you, man. Like, fighters, they'll say, "Okay, we did this and we did that," but everything you did after that too still part of your legacy. It still is part of your legacy. Like, people still will remember you for that. And it, in a way, it does kind of scuffs it up and mars it up, because we used to think of him as Superman.
Right.
Dude went a whole round without getting hit, jumping
Hands
up,
behind his back,
hand
flat,
behind his
just,
back.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
4 or 5
Stuff that,
weight classes,
and,
so
and the knockouts, ain't you know what I'm saying?
the knockouts.
Floyd wasn't a knockout, or Roy was knocking people out. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? So that was another accolade for him too. But speaking of knockouts, let me ask you this real quick
Okay.
while it's on the top of my head. Just on both sides of like this fight, people been saying it ain't gonna last long. You heard any of that talk?
I did. I've heard people say, like, maybe midway through. I've heard mid
Yeah,
round knockout.
I've heard 3 rounds. I heard midway through. I heard
Hmm.
Terence Crawford father said 8, 9, and 10. But how could that play out? And I mean, like the Earl Spence fight. I mean, that turned up real quick and went a direction that we didn't expect.
Hmm.
Like, can something like that happen?
I personally, man, like before I even give like a prediction by the end, like I really see two guys that's going to respect each other, but they're going to get hit each. But if anybody feels the power, it's going to be Bud. That's why I was telling you yesterday. I could see like Bud catching a flash knockdown, but knockout. I think they both got too much in the skill sets to avoid getting knocked out. Just like when Canelo was in there with Triple G, like when he felt Triple G's power, he knew how to get away from it.
Yeah.
And Bud, I think Bud, if he's coming in with the game plan to respect Canelo's power, I think that his IQ is going to keep him at bay where he needs to be. But even if he goes into a survival mode, I don't know if Canelo can catch up with him.
So that's what I'm saying. That we not gonna get no Hearns and Hagler.
No, I don't think so.
We not gonna get that.
No, I don't think we're gonna get no Hagler Hearns. No, I don't see that. Mm-mm. I don't see both of these guys just dropping everything they know as far as skill and just going out like that. Because
Well, how did they do it? Well, how did Hearns and Hagler get to that point? They were skilled, trained. They had game plans. They had trainers. How did the bell ring and the war break out, bro?
I think I think when what round was that when Hagler got cut?
It was early
Yeah, it
because it
was
was
real early. I
messy.
want to
You
say
know what I
first or second,
mean?
like because it only went three, right? It went three, and when he caught him with that shot, it was like it turned something on in Hagler, and Hearns Hearns could have boxed him a little bit, but he got drawn into a punching match, and it was just like it was on, man. Because
Okay, well that's what I'm saying. Imagine Terence bust Canelo open. We seen Canelo bleed a little bit, but we ain't seen Canelo busted open. What if he busts him open early and Canelo leaking and the urgency is on the? You see what I'm saying? How anything can happen?
Yeah, and they keep talking about that Mexican style. And like even Roy was saying he don't show it enough. That might bring that Mexican style out of him. So, and Bud he a dog too. So Bud he
So
might want to turn it up too. Like it.
that's what I'm saying. That I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
listen, the chemistry is there for something like that to happen. It's more than likely not going to happen. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, you do got people on both sides saying, "Yo, well, this fight ain't gonna last long." And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the bell ring and they go there and engage, and
Mm-hmm.
instantly it's on. I mean, you just never know, man. That's why so many people want to see. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I agree with what you saying that you got
Yeah.
two sound fighters who too airtight to just
Mm-hmm.
go out there and let it all out. But things happen and make things happen. You know what I mean? Bud could get cut bad early
Mm-hmm.
and feel
Yeah.
urgency, and good and well if Bud get cut early and is concerned about the fight getting stopped, what's gonna happen, man?
Oh, he'll
What's
put his
gonna
foot on.
happen, bro?
He gonna put his foot on the gas.
You already fucking know, bro.
He gonna put his
I'm
foot on the
just saying,
gas.
you already know. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what Canelo would do because we never really seen Canelo. We that's he's still a little mysterious about stuff too. I'm sure he would have some sense of urgency, but it could work against him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He could blood getting in his eye, and it could just mess him up. But we know Bud the type of person he gotta get back. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying, the fight definitely got certain dynamics and they could, you know, have some crazy, results going on.
Well, let me
Could
ask.
be boring. It could be a
Yeah.
super high level chess match, a lot of respect there, but I don't really see that.
Yeah.
Because somebody want to get busy. Both of them want to get busy. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I mean? So
yeah, I think so. Let me ask you this though, like when you bring up Canelo, kind of mysterious, like what do you think about his like skills though when it comes down to being really tested with a solid boxer? Because we've seen how he handles guys that don't have much power and they can box but don't have much power. But like when you see him fight guys like Golovkin and even like lose to a guy like Bivol, like did you kind of see him get stuck in a certain gear? Like I see Bud kind of rise to the occasion when he fights different styles. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know we look at the resumes, it's kind of different, but like, are, have we seen Canelo kind of peak with his like his what's the best way? Let's say his boxing IQ, has it increased over the years, or he just got comfortable? Because
I feel like
three Golovkin fights,
we've
and
seen the best
okay,
Canelo already, probably earlier in his career. You
mm-hmm,
know what I'm saying? I don't feel like we've seen the best uh, Bud yet because it hasn't been brought out of him yet. I mean, Canelo been
mm-hmm.
in there with some of the best that's out there.
Yeah,
You know, he's been tested, been Floyd, Mosley, Cotto,
yep,
James Kirkland, you know, all of them. You know what
mm-hmm,
I mean? So I think we seen the best of him, and right now he comfortable. He like, this worked for me. I don't have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm good with doing this. But Terence Crawford can still be pushed to a level. I don't think Canelo can really be pushed to a level. He can be pressured in the fight and he got to fight, but I think Terence Crawford can be pushed to level up. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? Like, I think he took the Earl fight so serious that he overdid it. He brought more than he needed.
mm-hmm,
You feel what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
So I could only imagine how he processing the Canelo fight and what he got to do to get the W. You know, and I mean, and I know Canelo, you know, is a prideful champion. He do not want to lose. You know, he definitely a sore loser, and you know what I'm saying? Definitely
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
imagine him
yeah,
losing to a smaller guy, and you know, is he in his mind that can't happen.
mm-hmm,
That can't happen. You know, that's the thing. I that's one thing. And this real quick. And Canelo mind, I think he feel like he can't lose. But in Terrence mind, I think he knows possibly he could lose this fight. I could win it or I could lose it too. You know what I'm saying? You see that? It's like I feel like
mm-hmm,
Terrence feel more danger than Canelo do.
mm-hmm. And sometimes that might help you get the W. Like you saying with Bud, it might it might cross his mind that there's some ways he could lose, but
Yeah,
he'll definitely like that'll make him, what's the saying, dot them I's and cross them T's a little bit more when you
exactly,
get up in there. So
exactly.
I think that's what makes him level up more.
Whereas opposed, I don't really see them type of thoughts really going through Canelo head too much, and I feel like he feel like I got this. He coming to my backyard. I'm about to fuck him up. Canelo arrogant too.
Yeah.
I don't think that thought went through his mind. But Terrence just
Mhm.
being realistic, like, yo, I'm chasing greatness. I could come up short. You know, that is an option. Chasing greatness. Canelo
Mhm.
not really chasing greatness. It's just another fight for Canelo.
Right.
Honestly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
because Canelo, he still swear up and down that Floyd fight didn't count. He's still trying to convince
that's why I
himself
say
that
he's a
Floyd
sore
fight didn't
loser,
count.
and 20
Mhm.
years and he's a sore loser. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's the thing too, like that's why I brought up the skills. I just had to ask you because like out of three Golovkin fights, there was still a level of respect there. You know what I mean? Like he never got comfortable in there. Like he could just pick him apart. Like even in the third fight, Golovkin wasn't really like Triple G anymore. In the third fight,
yeah,
I thought at
exactly.
that point Canelo would have like took it home. But even in that third fight, it seemed like he was still unable to adjust or still aware of that power or maybe even intimidated by Golovkin.
Well, we'll think about it and fast forward to the Belunga fight
Oh
and the
yeah.
Munguia fight. We
The sto-
seen who stopped both of them.
yeah.
Nobody's.
Yeah.
Canelo couldn't stop them. They went the distance with Canelo,
Yeah. Yep.
right?
Canelo. Yeah.
Remember Munguia fought that little kind of nobody and got exposed, got
Yeah.
knocked
Yeah.
out,
Got knocked out. Yep.
and then Belonga just fought that guy. He ain't a nobody. I think he got some skills, and he knocked him out.
And he
Canelo
got
couldn't do
knocked out.
that.
He could.
So you know, what
Kind
do
of
that
stuck it.
mean?
Yeah. Kind of stuck in that same gear, right?
And
Like.
it's stuck in that
Mhm.
same gear because those are the knockouts that he should have got. You know what I'm saying?
So going back to Bud, man, like, yeah, it's getting interesting. But yeah, going back to Bud, like, people will talk about the resume, the level of opponents, but you knock everybody out at welterweight. That tells me you kind of fight with a game plan to finish, and that's dangerous, man. Like, I don't care if it is at a bigger weight. Like, that tells me something about Bud's IQ and his punch placement. Like,
Oh
he
yeah.
just don't throw combinations. Like, this dude be splitting your guard and walking you into punches too. So that's something I think a lot of fans of Canelo don't want to admit. But Bud, he'll walk you into some punches.
And like honestly, and like, Bud Canelo is great. He started boxing when he was 15. He pedigree.
Mhm. Yeah.
But Bud is special. Like, he got God given talents that make him like an anomaly. That's why people think he can do anything. That's why,
Mhm.
people, think he can make this happen or whatever. Canelo was good, but a different type of good,
Mhm.
and people always say a fighter is special, but Terence is one of them fighters you would call special. Like
Mhm.
people say. I mean, a lot of fighters know how to switch, but they say the way he can do it so effortlessly, you know what I'm saying, and be so effective with it. And I mean, he's special. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be able to do things that an average man that size and weight couldn't do. That's another reason why some people think that he can get this done, because we're not just talking about anybody moving up to 160. We already seen it. We seen Jamel, who
Mhm.
ain't a bad guy, but he ain't Bud, and he moved up, but he didn't even really give it a shot. Bud is going to get this shit a shot, eh? You know what I mean? In my opinion, he didn't give it a shot. Jamel,
Nah, I didn't really see him come in there with an intent to win like that.
especially
And
after he got rocked, and it was just like, yo, just straight survival mode, and very, very respectful of Canelo. Bud gonna be respectful of him, but Bud want his respect back, and he gonna take it if he don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Or he gonna try to take it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's gonna be the
Yeah,
difference. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like that's where you see the difference between like Charlo moving up and Bud moving up. Like, definitely no disrespect, because Charlo, he did become an undisputed champion, but
Absolutely.
when you see somebody just kind of moving across the divisions like this and just always hunting for greatness and you know can't be tamed, because you can sense when fighters like can't be tamed, when they gonna go in there and get theirs, and you can't back them into a corner. Like, Bud always got that type of, him and Andre Ward, like, you can kind of see them like, you can't back us into a corner. We're gonna take this thing from you.
It go back to them guys being special, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Charlos ain't special. They good fighters, but they ain't special.
Right, right. Yeah,
Canelo is great, but he got 62 fights. How could you not be great? He been fighting since he was 15. He's fought the best of the best out there. How could you not be great?
yeah.
But he ain't special.
Oh, right,
I
right.
don't think so. Flat footed. Definitely the Canelo we got right now. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? I mean, one thing that I do love to watch him is when he be slipping punches. It's like a work of art. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
dude is like a master, just you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean, just slipping punches. It's awesome to watch. But I mean, Canelo is great. He not, and I wouldn't say he's special. But is special. We see the kid doing backflips. We see him wrestling. We even got shot in the head and drove himself to the hospital. We see him come back and become undisputed. He's special.
Yeah,
Earl might have been special, but the accident, I think, eclipsed that for us. It's different things happen in life. Bud kept stay focused and stay clean, and we're able to see hopefully just how special he is. And come tomorrow.
yeah. That's what's gonna come down to, somebody that's just got those natural God given gifts, like you said, and somebody that put in 60 some odd fights of work. And yeah, that's how at some point when you fight over 60 fights and you won most of them, we can call you great. Yeah,
Right.
but there's definitely a difference between that and being special. Because yeah, like
Absolutely.
a lot of the stuff he's learned, it wasn't natural. Like, it took losses to win. It
It
took
was over
losses
the
to
fight.
get that stuff. Like, you see,
Exactly.
like you said, the head movement stuff came after Floyd daddied him. The son did.
Exactly. His
After,
whole style elevated after the Floyd fight. Before he was a brute, big
hmm
young brute. and then after that he got some finesse.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now he done went to the third stage where he don't feel like moving a lot, and he just doing what he got to do to
Mm-hmm.
win. And this might be the right chapter for Bud to catch him at. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So but it's definitely, like we say, different between a great fighter, and a special fighter. But that's what make this fight another variable. It is another tangent of this fight. A special guy fighting a great guy. Can the big great guy beat the smaller special guy?
Mm-hmm.
They always saying, "Oh, a good big man has always beat a good little man," which
Yeah.
a lot of times probably is true, but it's not a science. It's not a fact. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Little
Right.
men have beat big men. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, um,
Yeah.
Saturday night is just going. The curtain is going to open and the show is going to begin, and I can't see it disappointing. I can't see it disappointing unless my man go in there and get hurt real bad. That'd be,
Mm.
one of the worst case scenarios for me. But
Right.
I don't see that happening. I feel like he fully prepared, crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's. He might lose, but the scary thing though is Bud go out, he's going out on the shield. I mean, people said, "Oh, I see Bo Mac throwing in the towel." I had to process that and visualize that and say, "Damn, will Bo Mac do that?" Uh, Bud is going to be fighting to the end. You feel what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Will Bo Mac throw the towel? I don't know. It's just so many things that could happen. You know what I mean? It really is.
I think it'll take a lot for for Bud to be down with the towel being thrown in,
And
like
he ain't gonna never be. I don't think he'll ever be down with it.
yeah, I don't yeah.
That dog in him. I mean, it'll be
Mhm.
the right thing to do in that scenario. But he's
Mhm.
always probably going to say, "I want to go out on my shield," because
Mhm.
that's him. That's
Yeah,
him. But
yeah.
just even thinking about that, I never thought about that when a person brought up. I see Bo Mac throwing in the towel. I was like, "Oh shit, damn." Could that happen?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Shoot.
Because Terrence ain't gonna give up. He ain't gonna sit on the stool and not come out. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Nah, like
So
he'll fight to the end or Canelo gonna have to put him out. You know what I
put him
mean?
out.
Like he got
Put
to
him
put
out.
him out if he want a
Put him out.
knockout or
Put
what
him
I
out.
think.
And I don't know if
Mhm.
Bo Mac can stomach that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I mean, think about that, Ant. That's a lot to stomach. It's part of the game, but to stomach somebody, you see your son get, you know, short circuited that's a lot.
Mhm.
Ringside, you know what I mean? Ain't like on TV, ringside is a lot. So I don't
Yeah.
know, man. It's I mean, shit. Reynoso could throw in the towel. We don't know.
Especially
Anything
but
can
yeah,
happen.
if Canelo getting if Canelo catching thump after thump and he ain't answering, start looking like Arturo Gatti in there, something like that. I
Yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
never know. You just
yeah.
never know.
That's a crazy uh scenario, but it could anything can happen. Anything can
Mhm.
happen. Bo Mac could throw in the towel. That's why I say when they said that never crossed my mind, but I had to put it in my bank and say, yo, that's another possibility.
Yeah.
Another possibility. We know the boy not gonna give up. So
Couple more things here. Well, right before you do the kind of pick on it, a little breakdown of it. We talked about you brought this up, the views, man, like Netflix, like what do you
yeah,
think is the advantage of this thing being on Netflix? Because when you brought it, I did pull up the numbers like they said on a Ali fight. It
okay.
said Ali's most watched fights actually drew into billions. Okay,
So
so
so in the
we
70s,
yeah,
so that mean people was watching this because it was on regular TV then. You see what
yeah,
I'm saying? So people
hmm
was tuning in at home and able to reach it because that number sound crazy for the 70s, and billions.
billions, yep.
So
That means
fast forward to the day when you got something like Netflix that everybody has or access to, everybody will be able to kind of watch this fight pretty much for free. You know what
hmm
I'm saying? Pretty much for free, and that's gonna be a game changer when you scrolling through, and I know Netflix is promoting it out the wazoo. You know what I mean? You're bringing in a whole nother fan base. With it being for free, so it's it's gonna be a spectacle, man. It's gonna be a big fight, but it's this whole thing. Dana White, Turkey, and this other guy that they're working with. You know, they brought back my guy Max Kellerman. I mean, I used to like Max Kellerman when he was on HBO or whatever. So it's a lot going on, man, for the true boxing fans, and honestly, you know, because we want to see, is this thing going to work? We got Turkey, we don't really know much about. We got Dana, we know everything about. And then we got this other kid that we don't really know nothing about. We know that all three of them are heavy hitters, and they're trying to get this boxing thing back on the right track. Because I like what Max Kellerman said earlier. He said, you know, it is other leagues. It's other football leagues out there. It's other baseball leagues out there. It's other basketball leagues out there. But when you say football, who do you think about that?
Oh, NFL. You just
When
think
you
of
think about basketball, who do you think about?
you just think of the NBA,
You know, baseball, you know, MLB, and
MLB.
so
Yeah.
on and so on. Except when you get to boxing. When you get to boxing, it's scattered all over, even down to
Hmm.
UFC. When you think of MMA, even though it's different promotions out, when you think of MMA, what do you think about?
Oh yeah, you think UFC?
And that's why they brought Dana White in. That's his little
Hmm.
caveat, just being able to connect one thing to the sport. You know what I mean? Is that a good thing? I don't know, but I see what Max Kellerman was saying. That's could be the problem with boxing. It's just all over the place. You know what I mean? You
Hmm.
can't, when you say boxing, it's no one entity. You know, not saying every fighter got to be under that entity, but it's not one dominating factor where you can say boxing. You just automatically think of it like you think of the other sports. So I thought that was like a good point that he brought up and was like, yeah, I mean that's a thing because every other sport you can say that, but
Hmm.
you know, and mind you, it's other leagues out. It's other football leagues. It's other, but they're smaller. They're like UFC. It's other leagues out, but they're smaller.
Hmm.
So the biggest one is who you get connected to. You
Right.
know what I mean?
It's almost like you kind of wish it was like for the movie industry, actors they can be signed to different companies, 20th Century Fox, Paramount, whoever, like there's so many different places. If an actor doesn't want to act here, he can get a contract here and be on this network, this show. But for boxing, yeah, it's just been so many hands in the pot, right? Which for a while seemed like a good thing, but then it's like you got so many people like calling the shots behind the scenes. It's like certain gifted people they can't get on because they might blackball you, so their
Right.
fight is always going to look good, you know what I mean? So one day we might be hearing about this guy, then we like Boo Boo Andre, you know what I mean? Like for a while he was hot, then like so many years his career was passing where he wasn't like in a stable place. Had it been like the UFC, he would have had a home. You know what I mean? Probably would have had a belt at least once already by then, but it's like once you ain't really tied to a company or people want to box you out, that's kind of like the bad part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
mean, like I said, that 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 dynamic might not work for boxing. I don't know, but it's
yeah.
just it is one of those things that, like you say, every other sport is known, you know, in that way, except for boxing. You know what I mean?
Boxing.
But that's why they brought Dana White into, you know, that little foray because they see how he kind of made that way for MMA. That's Dana
Mm-hmm.
White. He did that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Because
they
you
said,
did see the little embedded. Did you watch the embeddeds for Canelo Crawford?
well, they got it embedded. Netflix got it their own thing. It's like three different. Bud Crawford got his own thing. It's so many of them out there, and I've been watching bits and
Yeah.
pieces of some here and there. I'm not sure if I saw
Yeah.
that embedded or not.
Okay, yeah, yeah, because I just seen like so many different documentaries and labels thrown on it. It's almost like it's kind of a good thing, man, because it's like now you seeing Bud getting promoted everywhere now, right? It
Yeah,
ain't just unlock, it ain't on lock on like, oh, he's strictly on the zone or on top rank now.
right.
So yeah, that's kind of a good thing. I mean,
It is a good thing, and like I said, I could never see that for this guy who, because he wasn't looking for that, eh? He just wanted to be the
yeah,
best. He wasn't really looking for the late night with Jimmy Fallon and all the bells and whistles he getting now, but you keep doing what you're doing, and that eventually, I guess, is came to him. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
wasn't somebody, in my opinion, that was looking for that. You know what I mean? It just came to him, by him doing good work. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to Adrian Broner, who was looking for that and not doing the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So
Dang,
it's
yeah.
good to see Bud getting, being in these places
Mhm.
that I never thought I'd see him at. I turn on TV, Bud might be at the so and so awards. Hey, he everywhere. He
Yeah.
everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you, this kind of, I was talking to my wife, and she said,
Mhm.
one of her friends sent her a picture. They was out Vegas, and I could have fell on the floor. Girl sent my wife the picture. They got the best pictures with Terence Crawford. He at the airport just chilling. Got the picture with him. He took a picture with the kids, and he was with Clarissa Shields. They was at the mall just shopping at the airport. But got like some of the best pictures, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was hating a little bit at, you know what I mean? Because I don't even think she a boxing fan like that. You know what I
What?
mean?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I was like, man, you know what I mean? But they just letting you see Terrence was definitely down to earth and just chill. He is what he looked like he is, you know what I mean? But I was like, damn, you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
was out there watching like some other fight and just happened to be in Vegas for the weekend. And the girl, she was out there for the weekend and ran into him, but definitely got like some nice ass pictures at, you know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
So, but
That's
yeah,
wild.
Bud the man, and he the man. I hope he just can get it done. That's all I'm saying. I mean, Canelo, I'm not taking that from a great fighter and all this stuff. The one flag that I got is Canelo was dirty before. They try to throw that on turn, snack this. Canelo pissed hot. It was a fact. It
Yeah.
wasn't no speculation. And to me, that's always going to be another thing, and tied in with his arrogance, because it's like, yo, you pissed dirty before, bro. Stop acting like you, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's the dark cloud over his head, like we always say. That's that one dark cloud gonna stay,
But,
you know.
but only to certain fans, and you don't hear it. Nobody mentions it. Nobody mentions that.
Nobody do.
Nobody
Unless
talk about that. Let
unless
Bud have
they
pissed
don't
hot
like the guy.
one time in his
Mhm.
career, and you would hear about that constantly.
Mhm.
Well, back in early 2001, he was suspended. You would hear about that, bro. You don't hear
Mhm.
about it with Canelo. So I'm just saying, it is what it is. But I'm not saying Canelo not a good fighter and all this stuff, but he did test dirty, and I'm pulling for my boy to get it done. Terence Crawford. He's chasing greatness. Canelo's not chasing greatness. It's gonna be a feather in his hat to take Terence Crawford though, but that's about it. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I kind of look at it too. Like, I mean, I'm a Canelo fan too. He came through. I was like, I got to get this young kid credit. He want to fight everybody, but when you start cutting corners and still act arrogant, man, and you ain't even humbled by that, sometimes I got to look at you like, all right, it's time to get humbled, and I thought the
Yeah.
Bivol fight would humble him, but he still needed a little bit more humbling.
That's
So
how arrogant he is. It should
yeah,
have humbled him. The way Bivol went upside his head, it should have humbled him, but it didn't.
and believe
He's
me,
that arrogant. That was
yeah,
that was. Oh man, that's because he was bigger. All right, well let's see, because Terrence is smaller. You know what I mean? Hopefully my boy can get it done, man, because it might just be it might be just timing in life, man. Not just timing in the fight, but timing in life for things to happen.
hmm,
Changing of the guard. Even though Terrence is older, it's time to like smile. I heard Smile say to let Canelo know your time is over, bro.
yeah,
You've reigned. Your time is over. Adios.
hmm. Hey, man, it's about to get crazy, P.
It's
But
about to get crazy, It's about to
I
get
know,
crazy, bro.
I know. Look, I know. Look, I know you definitely want to root for Bud here, man. How do you think Bud has to do it in this fight? Though? I gotta ask you, man.
It's gonna be so crazy, because with so many different. It's a lot of people saying he gotta kind of be on the bike, so to speak. But then people were saying the inside fighting is going to be where it get interesting, that because they say how Canelo hold that real high guard, one of Terrence's best shots is like, coming up underneath. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like I don't want him to be in there going like think about it. People said the same thing about Spence, man. He can't go toe to toe with Spence. That's one thing he don't. He did it.
He did. Yeah,
He
he
did
did.
it. You
He
feel
did.
me? So
Mhm.
the inside fight game, outside, he did it. So I don't know, man. I mean, on paper, the smart thing to be would, stick and move. Get in, score your points, get out the way. Get in, score your point. But I don't know, man, because like we say, it's people saying that this fight is not going to last long, and that the fact that people can even surmise that excites me, bro.
Yeah.
Because we could see that.
And that's the
What if Terrence went out there and washed Canelo in 3 or 4 rounds? And how
mhm.
can you imagine the impact? The world, I mean, the boxing fan, it's going to be mayhem.
That's how you look. That's how you know we're dealing with a newer generation, though, P. Because of course, Canelo, he's evolved as a fighter here, who I'm going to compare him to, but they forgot fights like Roberto Duran versus Iran Barkley. You know,
Yes.
Roberto was 5'7". Iran
Yes.
Barkley is like 6'2".
That was at 168 too, right?
I want to say 160 or 160. It was like,
Okay.
it was a high, it was one of them big weights. Cause yeah, I think in 168 maybe. Cause yeah, Iran Barkley, he was at that weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because he had
Yeah.
the belt right at 168, right?
Yeah. Yep. And they forget stuff like that, man. And they all thought Iran Barkley was going to, beat Roberto Duran. And what did this little dude do? He wound up dropping him in the fight, I believe, like not once or twice, but just soundly boxing him. Good game plan in boxing. And you look at Crawford, he ain't even look at these pictures, man. Like they said Canelo had to wear high heels to get up to him. So it's not
And
even
then
like
think, man,
Crawford's that small.
how many big men did Manny beat, bro?
Oh
Nobody. I
man.
mean, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people have been bringing it up too. Like, man, people making too much of a big deal about the weight. The weight, it could be an issue in certain situations, but
Hmm.
it's not a guaranteed issue all the
Yeah.
time. I
Yeah.
mean, look how many big people Manny destroyed.
Hmm. Yeah. Everybody he
Being a
fought.
small guy,
Hmm.
coming up weight classes, people said he was on juice. They never proved that. So we got
Hmm.
to go on that he was just moving up the weight classes, staying shredded,
Hmm.
staying shredded. You know what I mean? And knocking people out, and not just beating them, knocking them out.
Yeah.
So
Beating
I'm
him
just
bad.
saying, it's
Hmm.
not the furthest thing from reality that happening. I mean, it's not a very common thing, but it's doable. And we talking about the best fighters in the game, and one of those fighters happened to be a special fighter. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
One is just great. He just paid his dues, and he's just still around. And he's been around. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? He never went away. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I just can only imagine the different things that can transpire in this fight, and it just gotta happen so we can see it, because my mind all over the place. You know what I mean? Because like you say, yeah, I'm pulling for Bud, but I'm not gonna be stupid how some people talk. Oh man, he got it. I don't know what's gonna happen, bro. I'm
Yeah.
pulling for him. I hope he can get it done, but it's definitely a tall task.
It is.
Tall
Like
task.
it's definitely tall because like the only time, last time I was for sure with Canelo was when he fought Bivol, and people was like, "Oh, he gonna take this." But I like, nah, Bivol gonna beat him.
You
Bivol's
sure
gonna beat him.
did that, because I ain't even
Yeah,
probably know who Bivol was until
yeah.
you told me about him. But you sure did say
Hmm.
that. You know what I mean?
He thumped him. I mean, he was thumping Canelo head up. But this is kind of a similar situation again, man. Like you're dealing with a very special fighter that I can't even remember who was the last southpaw that Canelo fought to. Like
it, it's
really,
it's it's been a while. They just said it, but it's been a while.
been
It's
a
been a
while.
while. It's been a few years. I think they said like
Yeah.
he been. It ain't been in like his last 7 fights. He be staying away from him.
Hmm. So the most he's had as far as interaction was getting boots into sparring and training with him,
Right.
sparring him a little bit. So, and when Bud and him, they're two completely different fighters. But the thing is, like, if you're not really in there fighting them type of fighters either, man, like how do you shut down this guy's jab or his power hand because you don't know which way it's coming, especially if you get comfortable in there. So to me, it's like, number one, if you can't get past Bud's jab in the first round or two, and you just continue to plot around and do the same thing like you did in the past 3-4 fights, Bud can box comfortably at that point. Like Bud's got the footwork. Like you could draw Bud into a punching match, but like I said, if Bud maybe pulls like a Roy Jones, like against John Ruiz, and just tries to use his gifts throughout the fight, I don't really see Canelo having like any type of intangible to pull out. Like most of the guys that Canelo really goes in there and destroys the guys that back straight up. And Canelo, Bud ain't gonna back straight up on you. He gonna turn out, pivot. He gonna catch you with the right hand or the left.
Mm-hmm.
Like he throwing with both hands, like as a southpaw, not just a right jab. So I'm breaking this thing down now. I'm just in my head, like boxing wise and just disciplined boxing wise. I think, and if he avoids punches, the big punches, Bud's got that on lock. He's got that on
Yeah.
lock.
Yeah.
But I'll say it about Canelo real quick. Canelo, really, let's be real. Like his main thing is his upper body movement. Like he don't really have footwork to catch up with Bud, right? So
Right.
he's got to make it a physical fight. Like his main goal has to be physical. And if you can't make it physical for however long you need, it's gonna be a long night. So them are some kind of questions I just been running it back in my head as we talking. Like, really, like, how do you catch up with a guy that measures range so well?
And think too, and like he fighting one of the best switch hitters in the game. And think
Yeah.
that's a big statement because it's only in one of the best switch hitters, like they saying in the history of boxing. It ain't too many in the game right now. Of course,
No.
he's the best in the game, but they saying throughout time or whatever. So think what that really mean. That mean that effortlessly he can go back and forth, back and forth. So 1 minute he hitting you with the right jab, next minute he hitting you with the left jab. You don't know when it's coming or when he going to switch or what. You don't know. It could be very confusing to Canelo. Canelo ain't never fought the best switch hitter in the game. You know what I'm saying? He never fought that. So just even that unpredictability, like they said, Canelo got to train for 2 fighters and Bud got to train for 1. Because Bud can do everything on both sides so well. It's kind of like fighting 2 fighters. You know what I mean? And the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he can go back and forth effortlessly, that's very confusing. You can't predict it. You can't get it down if he can do it so easily. You see what I'm saying? That so
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot of
Right.
stuff, man. You know what I mean?
I
But
will say this, man. Last thing I'm gonna say about Canelo, man, is like him being physical and closing the distance. Bud got to be careful though, man, because I'm looking at his cheekbones too, man. Like them things swell sometime when he do catch punches. Like
yeah.
one or two shots in the Spence fight kind of had his eye on swole. But he
And the
didn't get hit much
Mackinac
again.
fight, he was kind of closed up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
those are like Canelo's best bets. Like, is his power punches. But again, like Canelo throw a lot of power punch. He don't really jab as much. Like, do you notice that? Like Canelo kind of abandoned
He
his
loading
jab.
up on everything right now, man.
Yeah, what's he
Canelo, he
doing?
load up on everything.
And that's bad, man. That's bad against a counter puncher like Bud, man.
But that, like I say, man, he know what he against, and we gonna see
Yeah.
one of the best Canelos we've seen
Mm-hmm.
too, and that's gonna make it great. Because if Terence get him, it's gonna be no excuses. Because I know Canelo ain't leaving no stone unturned either. Because in his mind, that don't even make sense. His little ass beating me, but he
Right.
know that he got to make sure of that. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
He know I gotta make sure of that. So I'm curious to see how he coming to, right? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I'm curious to see how my boy gonna do, but I'm curious to see how Canelo one come to because this is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? It's like Canelo coming out here to this little mean ass French bulldog.
Mm-hmm. But then he about to find out that thing got some big teeth.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, he little, but he mean as hell. So
Mm-hmm.
um, and not even really. from that aspect because he's not little in that aspect. He
Mhm.
really bigger than Canelo, honestly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But he's
Yeah.
always looked at as the little man. You know what I mean? When
Mhm.
people now to a casual, they might think he's short. Terence Crawford is 5'1". You know what I mean? When they say the
Right.
smaller man, but that's not
Mhm.
what they mean. They mean the naturally, smaller man or whatever. But yeah, and I mean, I don't know what else we could say. I don't know what else can be done. It's just it's go time, man.
It's
And
go time. Yeah. So with that being said, for me, P, I'm going to say the fight. I think early in the early rounds, I'm gonna give Canelo like probably Canelo some of the early rounds as far as just getting into a rhythm because of his strength and power. Because he'll be fresher in the early rounds. That's when Canelo usually does his best work. And I think at most he might get a flash knockdown on Bud, but I
mhm.
think overall, like Bud, when he finds that rhythm and gets that adjustment, he'll probably take some close rounds in the first half, but I kind of see Bud winning the second half of the fight, man. So I'm gonna go with Bud by decision, man.
Yeah, and like honestly, the best safest thing I can say is but by decision, I feel like uh he's gonna be smart enough to know that if nothing else, he need to be getting some points, not worrying about like hurting Canelo and doing
Mm-hmm.
none of that, but just making sure he racking up on some points. So I can see him squeaking out the decision. That's the most logical thing to me, and you know what I'm saying. Being a Terence Crawford fan, I don't see him knocking Canelo out. He could. I
Mm-hmm.
hope it happened, but I don't see that. The best possible outcome I could see for him is getting a decision over Canelo, which would be amazing because we only seen two other people get it, and they tried to rob Floyd. You know what I'm saying? So,
Man, yeah.
um, that's gonna be a feather in the hat to even get a decision over a guy like Canelo. So, but I agree with you, and but by what kind of decision though, Ant? Unanimous,
I
split?
think
What you think?
I'm gonna go with a split because I think that whether we feel like he wins, like it could be 9 rounds to 3. That's another thing we factor in too. Like Bud has to convincingly win because let's already say it, Bud's gonna be behind 3 or 4 rounds. Let's just be real. With Canelo, when you fighting Canelo, you already behind 3 or 4 rounds. So you really got to win some rounds. Like that's the dangerous part about edging out rounds against Canelo. They're gonna give him to Canelo. So
I don't
um
even, I wonder, can he even play that fucking game, man? Can he even
right.
risk that?
Can he
He
risk
said in
it?
the thing, he said, man, I gotta win every round. I want to see if he's really going to attempt to do that. I mean, every fighter says that, but he did say with some conviction, I got to win every round, and he damn sure do.
He got to, yeah. That's one thing I say about Bud's gotta win every round to win the fight. Canelo, to me, honestly, I think Canelo's more in he's in the position where he got to knock Bud out though, as far as like beating Bud. I don't think and this ain't no disrespect because I'm matching him against a special fighter, but Canelo's got to win by knockout or like straight stoppage because I don't think his boxing skill ever catch up in the ring against Bud.
That's a good. That's
Fans
that's
gonna get mad at that, but that's
that's
true, man.
a good point. And you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I mean, because he definitely not. Bud is the more skilled fighter, and if he get way ahead, yes, you don't have the skills to get that to come back in the game like that necessarily. Not with a guy like that. So you got to go for So I mean, how many times when the last time Canelo been in a position where he had to get a knockout? And see what I'm saying? How many tangibles
Yeah.
could play out in this fight to just make it
Mhm.
be something crazy, bro?
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
about it. When the last time they told Canelo, oh, you got to get the knockout? He ain't heard that shit in a long time, man.
Mm-mm. And he might get more mad at his team for telling him than that
And he
because he
might,
told
because
him
I
to
don't know if
win.
he's ever heard it. I mean, maybe with
Yeah.
the Floyd fight, you wasn't
Mhm.
knocking out Bivol. I know they ain't telling him that in no Bivol fight. They might have told him that in the Floyd fight, talking crazy. But
Mhm.
I don't. Outside of that, he's probably never heard it.
No.
But he might
I'm
hear it tomorrow night. Might
Mm,
hear it tomorrow night. All right,
yeah.
Canelo, you gotta go in there and So I mean, and think, and he called all the shots. The date, the weight. It's on. What is
That's
that at? What is that? Mexican Independence Day.
yeah, UFC Noche, but
You know what I'm
it was the
saying?
same night as them too. So
Canelo. It's like
mm,
it don't even seem real how the stars lined up for this thing, ain't? I
hmm
ain't gonna lie.
that's a lot against him too, man. You chose the weight. You got the bit. You the A side. On top of that, like you said, on this Mexican Independence Day. So
I gave
now,
you everything you want, no excuses, bro. That's why I said, man, if this dude can pull this thing off, and it's gonna be some shit.
yeah,
It's gonna be some shit. A
for
boy
real
from
though.
Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska.
On enemy territory, huh?
Tell you,
Man,
man.
yeah, man. But yeah, it's going down tomorrow, P. It's look, it's been like a kind of crazy, like you said, fight game. But that's why, like I said, P, I always respect you, and I hope you feel the same way though. Like I understand why you've been low on some of these fights because I was the same way, bro. Like
Yeah,
just some of the things that's been going on in the game. I was like you, like man, like you off in the woods. I'm kind of like chilling, like looking, but at the same time, I'm like I'm not like a lot of these people just take something and run with it, you know? I
yeah.
just like especially if these guys ain't giving me what I want or they just like being, disrespectful to the sport. I'm like, I ain't gonna give y'all time, you know?
Yeah, I wasn't getting what I wanted no more.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of Twitter stuff and no fights getting made and Jake
But
Paul fights and
yeah.
it just turned me, man, for a minute. So, this fight, you know, really got my juices going. I even heard Max Kellerman say, he said, I've been away from the game. He said this fight brought me back. I was like, damn, I can relate to that, because
Yeah, yeah.
it's been messy out there.
That's crazy too, because like now you mentioned it, I was like, yeah, like I used to see him like on so many boxing media channels where a lot of these guys want to hear his take, but it was like he was hiding too, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, and I kind of I feel the same way. So yeah, I respect that. I respect anybody that just don't want to, take everything you hear and run with it like it's a story in boxing. And I just can't do that, bro.
Right. And and us not getting the fight, with Turkey, he is making
Yeah,
some fights that people want to see. We see how long if he can keep this going. If he keep it going, we are getting some good fights, but
right.
it just started back up, really. You know what I mean?
hmm I will say this about Turkey's YouTube channel. I don't know if you checked it out. He will put free fights up there, like after a while. Like
Oh,
maybe,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
even like after like I remember there were a couple fights that were supposed to be on pay per view. He put them on his YouTube channel like the same night, like at midnight.
Yeah, because he was the one who came with that mantra that pay-per-view is over.
Yeah,
It's over.
yeah.
Dana White would have still been running with that shit, ain't? You know
Dana
what I'm
White,
saying?
Dana White is probably red as I don't
Turkey
know
said,
what.
"No, man, no. I'm a
hmm
boxing fan. Part of boxing, being a boxing fan, is having easy access to good fights.
Right,
Bottom
right.
line, and he did it.
hmm
You know what I mean? So,
So with that, man, shoot, yeah, P, I'm glad to be back in this seat with you, man.
and we got a lot of catching up to do, man, because we
Yeah,
didn't
oh
even really
yeah,
touch on the Turkey thing, and
oh yeah,
just a lot of different things that transpired kind of in the game since we last spoke or whatever. But this is high level shit right here we got going on right now.
oh
This
yeah, yeah.
had to be done.
Yeah, this got to be, and we definitely gonna be back next week to talk about it, P. We got to make the time, and we got to get back on because yeah, this
And
gonna be
real,
something to talk
real
about.
quick too, and I just want to say because we've been
Yeah.
off for a minute, it was like it was important for me to talk, like me and you to talk about it, because I don't really talk with other people about it because a lot of people not into it like that, and I really haven't
hmm
been talking about it lately. You know what I mean? It's inside me, but I haven't really been talking about it. So when we hook up, we just get to rambling on. So it was good to it was
yeah,
good to
definitely.
get it up out. I ain't gonna lie, So
Yeah, I was glad to too, because I'm like you, man. When somebody asks me, like, I just kind of give them a sigh, like, and then I give them the
yeah,
basic answer because I
the
can't really
basic,
go deep
yeah,
with it.
yeah,
hmm
exactly. You know what I mean? The basic stuff, man. So yeah, it's good to get back in there in the kitchen and cook up some stuff with people who like the same food I do. You know what I mean?
For
And
sure,
so,
for sure. Yeah, man. Shoot. Yeah, so P, before we go, man, I know we're gonna try to fire this stuff back up, man. Where can we follow you at though?
I'm gonna keep it 100. And I've been
Hmm.
off the grid. You know, I still got my YouTube page up. You know, Loud Pack Boxing. I'm gonna
Okay.
see if I still feel motivated to feed that too. But I'm definitely looking for us getting together and
Yeah,
doing
okay.
some more stuff. You know, I'm not
Hmm.
saying I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm a fail person, man. If I fail, I'm gonna do it. I was doing my YouTube because I felt it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And then the game, and I wasn't feeling it no more. So, but you can check out some older stuff from me at Loud Pack Boxing on YouTube, and Loud Pack Boxing on Instagram. But like I say, man, I kind of fell out of love. I'm hoping this fight can seduce me again, and you know what I'm saying, and sweep me
yeah.
off my feet. So,
Hmm.
but definitely be on the lookout for me and Ant doing stuff. I'm
Yeah,
gonna try to
for
get the
sure.
other page up going. You know what I mean? But I got to see how I feel. When me and him get together, he bring it out of me. But just me being by myself, I got to see if I'm compelled to do. As long as they keep the good fights going, I guess I will be. But anyway,
Hey,
loud pack boxer, y'all. That's where y'all can find me.
I got you. Yeah, but hey, we still in the same place too. We still on iTunes, Spotify, even some of these new platforms I see. Like a lot of us just automatically been going there. Jab Podcast is over there on Tuned In, like a sports network show.
Oh
So
wow, okay.
it's all been transitioned over there. So you know, we still here, and like you said, like we started before a lot of people, but that integrity, it keeps you, it might keep you behind sometime, but that's how it is, man. Like we just don't jump on anything sometimes. Like same thing with P. Like I don't really have a lot of people around here to talk boxing with, and
Yeah.
not until I get on here can we really, really dig deep. And now that we can.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna get on here shucking and jiving and
Oh
doing
man,
some of the stuff that other
mm-mm.
people did. That's not me. I love the sport
Yeah,
of boxing. I love talking about it, but you're not gonna get me on here shucking and jiving.
yeah.
I'm never gonna be doing that, y'all. So I'm just letting you know. You feel me? I get it. Different strokes for different folks. Some people like to be entertained. You got show. You got a whole bunch of people out here doing different things, but I'm not. I'm not. That's not my shtick. You know what I mean?
And that's why we always gonna be talking boxing, P. Even when we ain't on the mic, we gonna still be. When I'm got like I was telling you, if I got gray hair coming out my ear, I'm gonna still be coming by your house on a walker, and we gonna sit outside and just talk boxing, man. Like it ain't gotta be on no mic and on YouTube, man. You just gonna be chilling out. If I still remember a fighter's name, we gonna talk boxing, P.
What that fighter name? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shoot.
man, that's real. That's real talk right there. But like I say, at the end of the day, definitely, just glad to be back on the mic and talking boxing and talking about some good boxing, man. You know what I mean? The
Oh
fight
yeah,
that
yeah,
we excited about, we interested in. No smoke and mirrors. It is what it is. So I like that. I like that a lot. So, I mean, hopefully they can keep it going. Nobody asked for this fight, but it's a hell of a gift. You know what I'm saying? You
man.
know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I'll take it.
yeah, yeah, definitely, man. And we gonna tune in, and yeah, we're gonna catch y'all after because whoever wins this fight, it's gonna be good. It's gonna
Yeah.
be good.
I mean, Saturday night, Sunday morning, it's gonna be on fire, y'all. No matter what happened, it's gonna be the talk of the town. So I'm looking forward to Sunday morning and seeing what everybody got to say. The good, the
Hmm.
bad, the ugly. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. And that's my next high point. I'm on a down slow, waiting for the fight to happen. And
Hmm.
then I'll climax, and then Sunday morning I'll be plateauing out and seeing what everybody talking about or whatever. But right now I'm down, just waiting to go back up. Come tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Closer to get to the fight.
Yes, sir. So yeah, man, good to be back with you, P. But on that note, like always, I'm Combo Breaker 99,
It's your boy Boxing P, man.
and we're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Later.